Hey, good morning, and thanks for coming back to the channel. Uh, this is going to be an interesting video. It is relevant to the subject matter of my channel, which is being prepared, practical preparedness, and those kind of things. And your health is certainly one of those. Um, Before I get started, I want to make very clear that I am not or never have been anti-vaccine. I am pro science, and when I say science, I don't mean scientists. I mean the established science. I make my decisions based on evidence, and then if there is some difference in evidence, then I make my own personal decisions based on that. So let's talk about why I decided after this long period of time to go ahead and get the COVID vaccine. What I'm about to say is my decision process. You may or may not agree, and that's fine. I just wanted to let you all know what my thought process was for me. First, like I said, I've never been anti-vaccine. I remember getting the flu for the first time for real when I got back from Vietnam. I thought I was going to die. I was literally done for 3 days in bed, having all kinds of bad reaction to it, temperature at 104, all that stuff. Fortunately for me, I was not the age I am now, which is 75, but I did come through that. I never wanted to go through that again. So when the flu vaccine came out, I've been getting the flu shot every year since 1972. And including the now old people's version, which is a double shot kind of thing. Now, that doesn't mean that I've never gotten flu-like symptoms since then, but I'm not going to go be down for 3 days either. So that was a selfish reason to do it. Fast forward to today with this new type of virus. I'll be clear. Yes, there is such a thing as a virus. I don't really care where it came from. I don't care if it came out of the lab. I don't care if it's bats. I don't care. What matters is that it is in fact out there. Now, I was infected with COVID back in October of 2020. And just like everybody else, oh man, I lost my sense of smell. I couldn't taste, blah, blah. That all sucks to be me. And 2 weeks later, I was good to go, I thought. And then one morning, I ended up with pain so bad I hit the floor and had to either low crawl or drive myself to the ER. Fortunately, the VA is 2 blocks away. Now, what happened was after going through all the test process, because the pain, on a scale of 10, it was 13. It was really bad. But they couldn't figure out what the deal was. So after going through a CAT scan, they discovered that I had a clot in my lower right lung. And what they also understood, and by the way, when I was still COVID positive when I was in the hospital. So what they said to me was, look, we know that this COVID thing for some people generates clots. I said, well, look at me. I'm not a clot generating engine. And he said, no, that doesn't work that way. The COVID clot generator comes out of your cardiovascular system. And when you have AFib, that's, different vibration of the heart, that will generate mysterious clots. And I went, really? They go, yeah. Like, man. So then I got admitted, and sure enough, they verified that that's what was going on. But it was after the fact, because up until then I was good to go, And I said, man, I don't want that to happen again. But by that time, I'm already immune because I've had the virus and I went through it and everything was good. Then this Delta variant has come out, and now there's a Lambda or some other one that just came out. And I thought, well, let me research this stuff some more, because at the beginning, the information about the 3 different types, and there was such hysteria on getting these vaccines out. I wasn't trusting any of that, and I certainly wasn't trusting what the government or the CDC or World Health Organization was saying to people. I mean, they were stupid, and they were lying to us, and they were trying to manipulate us, and I hate that. I hate that coming from people that we're supposed to trust for these kind of things. So I said, no, I'm not gonna be a test dummy for this shit. Fast forward to today, and this is mid-July. The fact is that there have been millions, hundreds of millions of people, both in this country and around the world, with the vaccine, whichever variant, and nobody's grown a third eye. Now, have there been some complications for some people? Yes, but it's infinitesimally small. By the way, COVID is 98 point something % of the people don't die. They might get really sick, but I'm going to come back to that in a minute, because I got really sick but didn't know it was related to the COVID-19 and until after the fact. And frankly, I don't want to go through anything like that again. Right? Now that, for me, the information is such that let's go through it. One, people say, well, we need more evidence that, so look, we got hundreds of millions of people that got this, whichever version, and nobody's grown a third eye. We don't have people dying in the street as a result of this thing. Well, what about the long-term impact? Well, let me talk about that. Again, I deal with the science, not scientists, so I do the research on what the facts are about the various things. And in doing that, I became a fan of the mRNA technology, which is the new stuff that's been used to, at least in the Moderna vaccine. And people are saying, well, the mRNA, they're going to put chips in it, and it's going to change your DNA and turn you into a goat or some stupid thing. Well, let me help you all understand that, because this is what the facts are. One, our bodies generate mRNA every day, thousands of times. Our body does it, and it's there to generate certain proteins that go into our cytoplasm. By the way, if you don't know what that is, go back to your high school biology and figure it out, right? So mRNA is just a delivery technique to get the material into your cytoplasm in the cell that starts to recognize the COVID-19 virus, all variants. You understand that? And it says, okay, once the mRNA has put that in your cytoplasm, it goes away, it disappears. It is no longer in your body. That mRNA goes away. So there is no long-term mRNA to even worry about. But it's going to change our DNA, and it's going to make us into monkeys or some bullshit. It is impossible for mRNA to touch DNA. Impossible. Why? Because mRNA goes to the cytoplasm, which is a material around the nucleus. DNA lives only in the nucleus. It is impossible for those two to even touch each other. So for anybody who is thinking that somehow magically this is going to happen, you need to go back to high school biology. The second thing about that is, let's say that mRNA and DNA, it was possible that our species would have died off a long time ago, because we're designed to not have them touched, so we don't have weird proteins going on in our body. So no, there is no significant long-term thing to worry about. Now, come back. Are people getting certain things, certain reactions? Yes. That are kind of weird? Yes. But that's the corner case. That's that one thing that they want to write in the press, and they do it over and over and over and over again to make us think that it's somehow it's going on all over the world, and it's not. And it's not. Now, let's come back to the reason that I decided that I was going to get vaccinated. It's the same reason I got the flu vaccine. I'm selfish. I'm a selfish prick. I don't care about Granny dying. I don't care about my neighbors. I don't care about my family. I don't care about you. I don't care about anybody else. I only care about me. I don't want to go through the crap again. So there's a vaccine. It's going to help me not do that, so I'm going to do it. If you're worried that you're going to get it, sucks to be you. You either mask up, leave the planet, go get vaccinated, live in a bubble. I don't care. That's your problem. So I did not get vaccinated because I was mandated to do it. I did not get shamed into doing it. I did it because I'm a selfish prick, and I just don't want to go through what I went through before. Now, the Moderna vaccine is the one that I chose. That's a 2-jab thing. I chose it because it has the highest efficacy, 95%. Now, what does that mean? That means 95% protection against the COVID-19, the original variant. Now, since I've had COVID-19, that adds to my immunity, right? It adds to my immunity, which then provides additional protection against any other variants that might come up. Now, I'm certain we're being lied to about how many everybody that's gotten the Delta variant they've been unvaccinated. Well, the lie about that is how many of them had already been COVID positive and unvaccinated? And I think the answer to that will be 0, right? And if 100% of the people or 98% of the people who have gotten a new variant and were unvaccinated, that means that they did not have COVID at all. How that happened? And they got it. And they chose not to get vaccinated. Well, they ran the blade, and they lost. Sucks to be them. Now, and again, this is my selfish thing. I'll go back to the 600,000 people in this country that have died. As far as I'm concerned, they should have died. Because however they got to the point where they were so vulnerable, all the virus did was cull the herd. It took out the weak, the lame, lazy, sick, and crazy. It took them out, as it should do, because that's what viruses do. And they had some underlying condition that made them highly susceptible to that. So if I had died, sucks to be me. Yeah. So to come back to Moderna, come back to the vaccines that are available. I'm a little bit lazy, so I didn't quite want to do 2 shots. Do one, come back a month later. But for 95% efficacy, by the way, in 40 years, the best average efficacy for a flu shot is 40%. So this Moderna vaccine is twice as effective as the best we could expect from a flu shot. So think about that. I mean, I'll take those numbers any day, right? I'll take those numbers any day. So the other thing about the Moderna vaccine is, you remember way back when, including me, I was all concerned about how they're going to get it from the manufacturer, and they had to freeze it at minus 100 or some crazy stuff, and then it caused problems in the supply chain. And if they didn't use enough, they'd have to throw it away, which is still the case with J&J and the other one. Moderna's not like that. Moderna has a 12-hour shelf life from the time it leaves the freezer or cooler or whatever until the time they have to use it. So typically they'll get 12 hours worth of vaccine needles, which is plenty to do in a day. So they'll get a full day's worth in most of these places that do Moderna. So there is that. There's a more reliable comfort level as far as I was concerned, that I didn't have to worry about this other part. Now, Um, let's talk about side effects and all that kind of thing. If you've had the shingles vaccine, if you've had the pneumonia shot, then the soreness you're going to get at the injection site is going to be almost the same. Ow, and then 2 days later it just goes away. Let's talk about other symptoms. You're gonna be kind of lethargic. So the following day or later on that day, you're probably going to want to go to sleep and rest. You're just going to feel that way, and that's okay. The following day, maybe. And it's not like you're going to be hard down. You're just not going to be hitting on all cylinders. You probably won't want to go do workout at the gym for a couple, 3 days, but that's okay too. Now, if you've had COVID and you get the Moderna vaccine, or probably any of them, you're gonna feel the effects in a stronger way because you already have immunity, and then the vaccine jacks up your immunity even more. So your body goes, "Wah," and that's so whatever post shot thing you get is going to be a little bit more amplified. I'll take that. If I'm going to get 95% efficacy from a vaccine, yeah, that's worth it to me. The second shot from Moderna tends to be a little more gnarly in the fact that you're going to feel the effects more. But, just stay home. I mean, that's what I plan on doing. Why? Because I'm a selfish prick. And I don't want to go through the stuff again. You see, by the way, I don't care about, no one has shamed me into doing this. I don't want to go to Canada. Fuck Canada. I don't want to go on a cruise ship. Fuck the cruise ships. I'm not going to mask up anyway because I live in the free state of Idaho. We don't have any mandatory vaccines now. Now, the federal government is trying to intimidate private business to force their employees to get the vaccine. And you see a lot of that in the hospitals and healthcare places. Problem with that is that they're threatening to fire people who don't get vaccinated by either September or November or whatever. And I'm thinking, are they high? It's hard enough to find skilled healthcare workers. So you're going to intentionally get rid of 40% or 30% of your workforce. I mean, that's just brain dead. Brain dead. Okay. So I'm going to kind of close off with this because it's been a little longer than I thought it was going to be. But I wanted to let you all know that, yes, I decided after this long period of time that I was going to get the vaccine. I explained why. I explained my thought process about that. There's about 6% of the people who have decided they're not going to take it. That 6%, are, as far as I'm concerned, are total conspiracy guys and probably believe the earth is flat, right? The rest of the people, if there was truth given to them without all the hype, without all the trying to make them scared, without trying to mandate. The worst thing you do to Americans is try to mandate we do something. If somebody came to me and said, I'm going to make you, I'm going to say, well, bring it, because I'm not going to. I don't care what the facts are at that point. You're trying to make me do something I don't want to do. It's all like Donkey Kong, And I think a lot of that is what's happening, is that there's been all this conversation about mandating for herd immunity and all that stuff. We already have herd immunity. If you take the number of people that have already had COVID and you take the number of people that have already been vaccinated, you add them together because you have to, we have herd immunity. But nobody wants to do that. Why? Follow the money. Okay. So this was kind of a ramble, not a rant. I'd really appreciate any thoughts you have. I'm not trying to convince any of you to do anything. I just wanted to share with you what my thought process was. So, as always, thanks for watching, and carry on.